Welcome back to the Bob Devaney Sports Center. Derek O'Connor and Ty Schweer bringing you live coverage of the NSAA Boys Class D2 State Semifinal. And this place, Riverside and Mullen, is packed as far as fan bases go. Riverside, for those of you who don't know, Spalding Public and Cedar Rapids Consolidation. The number 2 Chargers. Let me get my stat sheets here. The number 2 Chargers come into this one. Looking down here at 24-2 after defeating number 7 Why Not to get here. And Mullen, the whole town of Mullen, I'm sure, is here to support their defending D2 state champions, the Mullen Broncos, at 20-5. And looking at Mullen, Mullen is coached by head coach Rusty Moore and assistants Justin Moore and Brad Wright. Like I said, they are 20-5 coming into the season. Their losses are to Gordon Rushville, North Platte St. Patrick's, Twin Loop, South Loop, and South Loop again. And Mullen, no stranger, I keep saying this, to the state tournament. They were here just last year, defending state champions. They made the state tournament 15 times, and most recently last year. And the story, for those of you who don't know, for Mullen is head coach Rusty Moore, either right before the season or early on into the season, contracted brain cancer. I'm not sure if he is actually here tonight. There was a big write-up in the Lincoln Journal-Star for those of you who get your hands on that. Really good story, really touching, and I know the team right now wearing all black uniforms that say Coach Moore on them. So the support for this Bronco team is absolutely immense. For Riverside, they are coached by head coach Joe Imus, and they are the defending D6 football champions. And they were here last year. They fell, quite ironically, to Mullen in the semifinals and didn't make it quite to the last game. 24-2, they come into this one with losses to Class C1 Arcadia Loop City and Class C Fullerton. Both of those teams making it to the state tournament in their respective C1 and C2 brackets. So a pretty stout team here. Nonetheless, their leading scorer with 420 points, Joseph Bloom, Traden Krasowski with 469, followed by Bloom with 420, and Riley Swerchek with 278. So some scoring power behind this Riverside team. For Mullen, looking over at them, Tel Spees with 320 points, followed by Luke Christian with 292. Well, with the dress announcer getting things underway, here are your starters for the visiting Mullen Broncos. They are in their road black and gold trim, black jerseys, gold numbers. 5'10" freshman number 4, Brendan Walker. 5'10" junior number 10, Lane Edis. 6'3" senior number 12, Luke Christian. 6'4" senior number 24, Tel Spees. And 5'11" junior number 30, Colby Walker. And Riverside will be donning their home all-white white jerseys, white numbers, gold and blue trim. Starters for Riverside are 5'10" sophomore, number 3, Traden Prasowski. 5'9" sophomore, number 5, Trey Caraher. 6'6" junior, number 10, Joseph Bloom. 5'11" senior, number 23, Riley Swerchek. And 5'10" junior, number 25, Ty Martinson. Both teams come to half court to shake hands and share pleasantries. Riverside number 2, Mullen number 3. And the winner of this gets number 1, Falls City Sacred Heart. In the championship game tomorrow at the Bank, 8:30 p.m. primetime on NET, and watch online as well. So this place getting ready to roll. A pretty good matchup, to say the least, between the 2 and 3 seed.
Yeah, and Mullen, as we said, playing with a little extra motivation, their head coach, with the brain cancer situation. I mean, that's a huge motivator for a team to go to state, play for him, and his honor. So we'll see how Mullen reacts in this situation.
On the Riverside side of things, Joe Imus, no stranger to the big stage in basketball or football. Multiple state championships there for a fairly new school, really, in the grand scheme of things in Riverside. The Chargers, again, Spalding Public and Cedar Rapids consolidation. So they haven't been around all that long. And to start things off, Traden Prasowski nails a three-pointer from the left wing, and the Chargers strike first.
That's a statement being made. Plenty of room behind the three-point line, pulling up, showing just how good of a shot he is to open things up.
That was a long three, way downtown, past the stoplight and around the corner. We'll see if Mullen can respond here. Imus and the Chargers set up in the zone. And a missed two-point jumper from Spiess. Once again, here come the Chargers. Historically, Riverside, a pretty well-conditioned, fast-paced team. Swerchek kicks it out to Prasowski. Prasowski off on his three, and a rebound for Martinson. Bodying up into the lane is Joseph Bloom. Back out to Caraher. Caraher gets it out to Christian for the rebound. Almost mishandled out of bounds. Mullen still has it. Back out to Edis, the junior. I believe Riverside's in a 2-3. Looks more like a box and one as a two-pointer falls for Riley Swerchek. Or excuse me, looking at the wrong team over here. Nonetheless, the two-pointer was good, and it's popped out. A scramble for the ball. Brandon Walker comes up with it, looks for a man on the ground. The 1-2 step off the glass is no good from Christian, and the Chargers get it back. Martinson opts not to dish, goes to the lane, misses the shot, and a board for Mullen. Christian comes down with the basketball.
Both teams opting for a very quick pace early on.
Keeping me on my toes. My pen hasn't stopped since we started. Martinson walks it down. Swerchek in the corner. Swerchek to Prasowski. Prasowski only 5'10", a sophomore, leading the way with over 460 points. Empowering his way forward to the basket. And a shot for two is Joseph Bloom. Luke Christian with his first foul. I was looking down my book. I missed who got the two-pointer for Mullen. So if we can somehow figure that out, give credit where credit's due.
I can't for the life of me think of it either. I saw it happen in front of you. There was just so much going on during that first 2.5 minutes of this quarter.
Regardless, 2 points for Mullen, 2 misses from the free throw line for Bloom. An opportunity here for the Broncos to take their first lead. Down into the corner, into the short corner, a short pull-up two for Christian is no good, and a rebound for Prasowski. Here comes Riverside, coast to coast. Goes Trey Caraher, give him 2 points, and Riverside's out to a 3-point lead. Walker kicks it to Edis. Back at the end, looking for some time. Walker over to Bloom. Riverside maybe in a 2-3 zone, but almost a box and one. Pretty aggressive out on the flanks, and a three-point shot for Kobe Walker. Ties this thing up at 5. All the way to the basket. You got to watch for Riverside. They will go as hard as they can right down the floor from the outlet. Two team fouls for Mullen, the first for Kobe Walker. This time Bloom hits his first free throw. Pretty packed house, a good showing for both Mullen and Riverside student sections. Second free throw, good as well.
Now Mullen starting to slow things down. Both teams are moving at a very quick pace the first 2.5 minutes. Mullen starting to slow things down. Try to find better shot selection here, down by 2.
And Mullen is killing Riverside from beyond the arc. Kobe Walker knocks down his second three of the game. Riverside daring him to shoot the three. Prasovsky goes coast to coast for 2. And the contrast of styles continues. And Riverside with the zone, daring him to shoot outside, and it is working out for Mullen. Mishandled out of bounds by Spiess. Nothing hurt for the Broncos as Karaher lines up to inbound it. Double knot those shoes, kids. Some bright yellow kicks there from Riley Swarchek. Embracing the yellow color scheme of Riverside. Off the dribble is Prasovsky. Kicks it left side to Swarchek. He brings it back up top, fed to the postman, is Bloom. Bloom spots up a 2, and it's good. Joseph Bloom has 4 points. Riverside leads 11-8. Short pass, tough shot for Kobe Walker. Walker now with 8 points. Broncos back within 1. That really looked like when things started, Mullen kind of had a slow start, really couldn't get much going. And a big block on the other end of the floor by Christian. But Mullen has come storming back. A takeaway for Riverside. Martinson kicks it up to Prasovsky. Don't expect him to pass. It is good. The floater. Riverside proving they can score with the best of them. And Lane Edis looks like he's out of breath, as I would be running up and down the floor as much as these two teams are.
The high tempo favors the more conditioned team, and it seems that Riverside might be the more conditioned team here. They continue to push the tempo.
Christian drives to the basket. Spiess headed to the line for 2. Joseph Bloom with the first foul. Shooting 2 is Tel Spiess. Spiess's first one rolls left. No good. Second shot on the way from Spiess is good. Number 5, Ty Durfee into the game, the 6-foot junior. Martinson walks it up into the corner is Colton Hendricks. He looks to drive baseline, kicks it over to Durfee. A wide open look, 3-pointer on the way. Goes out of bounds and back to Mullen. That was Karaher, rather, not Durfee. Walker trots it up, finds an open lane into the paint, misses the floater, and a board for Riverside. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first, and the pace has once again slowed way down. Swarchek bounces it into Bloom. Bloom back out to Swarchek. The 3 is lined up, too strong, and a rebound for Walker. All the way coast to coast, a right-handed layup from the left side. Kobe Walker, 2 more points either hand will do. We're tied at 13.
Mullen there senses Riverside getting a little tired. They slow down a little bit. They get that ball, rush down the court, get the transition points, and hustle back on defense.
Look out for Persofsky. Into the corner is Martinson, down low to Bloom. Bloom gets his own rebound, tries to put back, and it's good. Joseph Bloom now with 6 points as we're under 120. Chargers take that lead back, 15-13. Walker slings it over to Caden Licking, the 6'2 senior, into the game, number 20. Walker still in the 2-3 zone is Riverside. Licking to Walker, spots up a three, and he'll knock it down. Brendan Walker finally gets his first points. Give him 3, and the Broncos take the first lead of the first half. Also in the game for Riverside is Michael Brandt as Trayton Persofsky gets stuffed in the lane, and here comes Mullen trying to extend that lead.
And a lot of momentum in favor of Mullen. Starting to work offensively and defensively, and they have the Chargers on their heels.
Licking to Walker. Now to the near corner is Edis. Back to Christian. Christian powering through is Durfee. The reverse layup trickery for Ty Durfee. He's got 2 points, and the Broncos are up 3. Under 7 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Martinson's going to take it all by himself, driving in through 3 Mullen defenders. And what an exclamation point for Martinson to get Riverside back within 1. An exciting, fast-paced, offensive first quarter here from Lincoln. Broncos lead by 1, 18-17. Let's take a short commercial break and be right back here from the Bob Devaney Sports Center.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Second quarter underway here from the Devaney Sports Center, 18-17 Mullen. Edis with the basketball, Mullen possession. Licking on the wing, now to the corner is Christian. Back up to Licking, around the horn, into the game now, 6'1 junior, number 34, Brandon Peters for Mullen. Powering up, driving through is Christian. That one off the mark, and here come the Chargers, a 2-on-1 advantage. All the way to the rack is Trey Caraher. Count that one, and 1. A 3-point play coming up for Caraher.
What a shift of momentum here to start the second quarter. Mullen had all the momentum to end things, and Riverside coming out, putting up the basket, grabbing that and 1.
Licking commits the foul. Caraher finishes the play. And Edis brings it up the floor, under 7:20 to go in the second. Riverside, regardless of any outside threat, still playing the 2-3. So far, what's working best? 3-point jumper off the mark from Licking. And it goes out of bounds off the hand of a Bronco, back to Riverside. Charger family out in full force, filling their allotted seats to the brim. Mullen doing exactly the same here in front of us. 2-point J for Bloom is good. Riverside pulls away just a little, 22-18. Edis brings it up the floor to the left wing, now bounced inside to the post. Spies makes a move on Bloom, almost returns the favor. An offensive board and a putback off the glass for Lane Edis. Here come the Chargers again in transition. Looked like Bloom traveled. A couple others thought the same thing. But nonetheless, 2 more points for Bloom. Back to a 4-point game. Into Spies. Spies bodies up Bloom, and he knocks it away. A big block for Joseph Bloom. That one just makes you smile, doesn't it?
And that's going to stop any momentum Mullen had right there. Mullen fans came dead quiet after that big block by Bloom.
After that, Bloom will take a seat. And 6'1" sophomore, number 24, Keaton Caraher into the game. 3-pointer on the way. Brendan Walker might want to guard him next time. He's got 2 threes, 6 points. Broncos right back within 1. Walker most certainly the outside shooting threat for Mullen. Driving in, kicking to the corner. Schwartzek all by his lonesome. 3-pointer does everything but go in. And an offensive rebound for Caraher to Prasowski. Some stout Mullen defense here. Martinson back to Caraher. Back up to Swarchek. Swarchek looks inside to Keaton. Keaton to Swarchek, driving through, powering through, getting it to go. Riley Swarchek sinks the double. Coach Moore visibly frustrated a little bit with his defense, but his offense, boy, it's clicking on all cylinders. Edis knocks down a 3. And just like that, we're tied up at 26. If you're just joining us, if this is the only game you've watched here tonight on NFHS, you tuned in for probably the best game so far through 1 half. Prasowski and Swarchek. Over to Caraher. Trey takes a few dribbles, gets it back to Martinson. Into the corner, Swarchek spots up another 3. That one misses in the exact same spot. A rebound for Christian. A coast-to-coast drive for Edis. Broncos take the lead back, and boy, momentum back and forth and back and forth. Not really staying with one team for all that long.
Looks eerily similar to the Kennesaw game that we covered earlier. Back and forth, both teams trading blows for the first half. Kennesaw would pull ahead in that game. Right now, Mullen up by 2.
Edison Walker exchanging passes into Spies. Down low, off the roll. A great look, double post play for Luke Christian. Spies and Christian back and forth, and the Broncos now have the advantage up by 4. Keaton Caraher opts for a long 2. Would have been better with the 3. It goes over. Rebound for Martinson. Martinson stuffed by Spies. And an over and back against Riverside, and things are falling apart at the seams here for the Chargers in the last 30 seconds.
And Mullen's got to use this. They have 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the second quarter. They've got to use this momentum. Their crowd is getting loud right in front of us. We got to get something done here on offense and keep it rolling.
Mullen's had a taste of that state championship. They want to be right back in it. Riverside feels slighted from last year. They want to get to that same spot. 2-pointer too short for Edison, out of bounds off of Durfee. .259 left here in the second quarter. Charger ball, Prasowski from way out there. Well misses, and a rebound for Edis. Edis all the way coast to coast. Looked like a goaltend, but regardless, it's going in for Mullen, and a timeout, Riverside. A much-needed full timeout for the Chargers. And Mullen has seemingly pulled away with as much momentum as they can grab. 32-26. 2:36 left to go in the second quarter. Let's take a short break and be right back from the Bob.
This stage is nowhere near Broadway, and none of these actors will be accepting an Oscar anytime soon. Still, they are rehearsing for something important. While they learn their lines, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, that everyone has a part to play. Skills that will make them stars long after the curtain falls. The National Federation of State High School Associations reminds you that when kids take part in high school activities, they get set for life.
Hey, great party.
Oh, thanks. Here you go. One hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burned.
That's it. You're not going to come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger.
You wouldn't do it there.
It's crazy.
So, don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Back from the Riverside timeout. 2:36 left to go in the second quarter. A 32-26 lead for the Broncos of Mullen. Riverside trying to respond in any way they can, and they do. Joseph Bloom, a well-earned 2. Pushes hard to the rack for that one. Still down 4, 2:16. And it's a slow trot up the floor. Hands off to Spies, now playing a 5-man game, no center. And to the lane, a scoop shot for Brendan Walker, showing off the handles and the points. Martinson brings it down for Riverside. Swarchek into Bloom. And Bloom responds yet again with a hard-earned 2-point bucket. Riverside only trails 4. Trading punches back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, Riverside seems to have an answer for everything that Mullen puts up. Right back down on the court, putting up a basket of their own after every Mullen bucket.
Walker a long 2 from the elbow, and it is saved from going out of bounds by Durfee. To the rack, off the glass, nothing doing for Edis. But a board, and maybe a putback. He is stuffed by Bloom, and another putback squandered by Edis. Joseph Bloom, the shining star here in the last 3 minutes for Riverside. Big blocks, big shots. See if they can get back within 1 possession.
And Bloom there picks up his 3rd block of the quarter. Doing a great job down low in the paint on defense.
Karaher to Prososki silences the crowd. He's got a triple, and Riverside's back within 1. Riverside fans on their feet under 10 seconds. Mullen's going to opt for the last second shot. In the hands of Ennis and Coach Moore. All kinds of fired up, talking to the official. Perhaps thinking he called it a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, 7.6 seconds. A full timeout. Let's just keep it here. Looking at the stats, it's been the Joseph Bloom show here for Riverside, pretty much in the second quarter alone. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 points here in the first half. Forgot to change pen colors, so we're just going to call that the first half. Karaher not far behind him with 5 points, and Trayton Prososki a couple threes over to the Mullen side. Looking at Brendan Walker, he's got 2 threes, and Lane Edis with a 3, and Kobe Walker with 2 threes. So offensively, both teams really duking it out, not favoring the outside. We've seen Spies come in and out as well. Mullen played a little bit of a five-man game, not putting a center down there. But no team really relying on outside threats or post play. Really well-rounded teams here in D2.
So Mullen with the advantage as of now, only by one. They're going to get the ball after the timeout with 7.6 seconds remaining in the half. Trying to close things out with the lead going to the second half.
As long as we've been here and as strong as this fight has been between these two teams, it feels like a fourth quarter game and we're not even halftime yet. To the bucket, 2 missed shots. And a rebound, ball's on the ground and it's put back up. I believe time expired. That one's not going to count. But nonetheless, Mullen with a resurgence in the second quarter goes into the half, up 34-33 on the Riverside Chargers. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, come back with a few minutes before the second half, get some first half stats for you. And for your halftime. Eric O'Connor and Ty Schweer here with you back at the Bob Devaney Sports Center at halftime. The Mullen Broncos lead the Riverside Chargers 34-33. Some quick first half stats for Mullen leading the way, Tide leading the way. Colby Walker with 10 points and Brendan Walker with 10. Tell Speece with 1, Lane Edis with 7, Luke Christian with 4, and Ty Durfee with 2. To do some quick math here.
While he's doing that, rebound-wise, Riverside doing a lot better job getting those boards. Bloom leading with 4 rebounds. Martinson and Swerchek both grabbed 3. Rosowski picked up 2. Burnt and Karaher, there we go.
Gotcha.
Both grabbed 1. So good rebounding by Riverside. Mullen did do quite as well. Christian leads the way, rebounding with 4. They only had 8 rebounds in the first half.
And Riverside really finding the mark, both from the free throw line and in field goal range. They are 50 on both. 14 of 28 shooting from the field and 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Over to Riverside, quickly run it down. Prasowski has 10, Karaher 5, Bloom 14, Swerchek 3, Martinson 2. And Riverside much better statistically, 14 of 20, 70% from the field. Quite the field goal percentage, and 4 of 6 from the line, shooting 67%. And going hard to the floor as things just get underway is Riley Swerchek, took quite the tumble. Swerchek just took a bit of a spill. At the line, shooting 1. To complete the three-point play is Christian. And he does not. The board gobbled up by Joseph Bloom. Here come the Chargers. Broncos come out roaring, 36-33. Prasowski, far side, inside to Bloom. Bodies up and draws some contact. Tell Speece with his first foul. Another foul earlier was on Traden Prososki. Bloom's first shot, no good. Michael Burnt replaced, and Swerchek right back in. Still kind of rubbing the back of his head. One official making sure he still feels all right. Second free throw from Bloom is good.
You definitely got to be careful hitting that head on that hardwood floor. Very easy to get a concussion taking those charges.
It'll be pretty easy to tell Swerchek's still not up to snuff, and he goes spilling again to the floor. Has quite the tall order with Spiess. And Mullen gets called for a travel. There's just no sooner does he get in, Swerchek back on the hardwood, flying to the floor.
At least that time he did a better job of protecting his head when he went down and landed more on his hip instead of the back of his head.
This time Ty Martinson brings it up. Karaher to Prososki. The floater is good. Traden Prososki gets his first points of the half. He's got 13. Pretty blatant travel call in the eyes of most Riverside fans. The shot from Edis is no good, and through the lane, traveling before he gets there, is Joseph Bloom. They give the ball back to Riverside. Riverside fans across from us, Mullen in front of us.
Still a very close ball game. We're tied at 36. Both teams continue to trade punches here in the second half.
Christian off the screen from Spiess, pulls up from the elbow and sinks the two. Nice high percentage shot there from Christian. A good screen from Spiess. Swerchek gets it to to Prososki, who knocks down the double. Chargers are back up one. Edis out to Spiess. Broncos playing the five-man game. Driving in a hard foul. No foul for Spiess. Here we go in transition. Prososki, an off-balance three. Ill-advised shot is no good, and Christian snags the rebound.
Yeah, that three was definitely rushed. You noticed he didn't have his footing down, just kind of cast up that shot, knowing he was going to get called on that travel. He had nobody to pass to. Just threw that up, and it leads to a turnover. The Mullen ball.
And a foul for Riley Swerchek. He's got one, the second for Riverside this half.
A lot less fouls compared to our last game we called. Quite a few in the Giltner and Fall City Sacred Heart game that we just wrapped up earlier.
And both of those teams got well into the double bonus once things were all said and done. 2 for Luke Christian. Broncos pull ahead by 1. Neither team really getting too far into any kind of rally. Prososki spots up a three, and what a beautiful shot from Traden Prososki, the leading scorer for this Charger team. We'll see if Mullen can answer to the corner. A no-look pass, and the three is too strong from Walker. An offensive foul goes against Mullen. Christian again with another foul.
So now the momentum back in favor of Riverside. See Mullen going to put some pressure full court, man on man. Going to force an early mistake. But Riverside with a lot of momentum after that series.
Prososki up the floor to Martinson. Back to Prososki way downtown. That one plenty short and a board for Edis. Traden Prososki getting a range check for his threes. Out to Spiess. Big man drives forward off the glass. It's too strong and a board for Burnt. Here come the Chargers. They don't have the numbers. A 2-on-4 situation. And a charge is called against Prososki. A good call there from the official underneath. Burrowing his way forward. Visibly upset is Prasovsky.
Rosowski needs to keep his head. You saw him almost starting to yell at the official. That's how you get teed up and make that situation a lot worse. He's got to remain calm, keep playing his game. I mean, he's shooting well, shooting deep, and getting teed up and having to go to the bench would be a huge problem for Riverside here.
Prasovsky, the leading scorer, but only a sophomore, so pretty young as far as this team is concerned. However, only one senior. Swerchek, the lone senior here on my roster. Mullen basketball, under 3:30 to play, a 2-point advantage, Riverside. Edis inside, kicks it back out to Licking. Looking to Edis, directing traffic is Coach Mullen. Driving hard to the block, looking for some help, back out. Edis elevates. The three is just strong, and a rebound for Prasovsky. Riverside here with a chance to pull away a bit. Burnt spots up the three, and he's excited about that one. Michael Burnt, first attempted shot. He sinks the three, and Riverside takes control by 5.
And Mullen definitely has to put more pressure on the outside. You saw that was an open 3 look. There was a defender staring down. Was that Burnt?
Burnt, yes.
Burnt, as he took that shot. As a defense, when they start hitting those threes, you've got to get outside and cover that. You can't let them shoot an open shot like that.
Not sure who that foul was on. We'll catch up with that later. And a 5-second call, some perfect defense from the Chargers. The first 5-second call I've seen here tonight.
Once again, Riverside getting fired up. You can hear their crowd getting extremely loud here at Bob Devaney tonight.
Still 2:40 to go. Third quarter not yet over, and that was a well-earned shot from Swerchek. Someone got a hand on that, but he knocks it down. Riley Swerchek now with 5 points.
And for the first time tonight, we see a team start to go on a bit of a rally. Riverside starting to put together some points and pull ahead. Largest lead of the night at 7 points ahead.
Christian comes off the screen from Durfee. Looks for his man. An open three-point look to respond is Licking. And it's no good, and Prasovsky is fouled pretty hard as he tried to get the rebound or outlet pass.
And a wise timeout called by Mullen. Feeling a lot of pressure from the Chargers here. They're going to have to sort something out in the huddle. Come out fired up here late in the third quarter.
Licking's going to pick up his second foul, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
You have the best of me. I'll have the best of you. We'll share this life like we ought to. We'll share this life like we ought to.
A brief Mullen timeout to stop the action. Like you were saying earlier, Ty, Riverside really the only one that's gone on a bit of a rally here late in the third quarter. A 7-point lead now for the Chargers. Looking to make it a little bit more. Bloom to Burnt, inside to Carraher. Out to Prasovsky. In is Prasovsky. That one a little too short and a board for Speaks. Here comes Mullen trying to find something to respond with. Walker bodying up in the reverse. Almost got it to go. A good look there for Walker. But it doesn't fall, and Prasovsky blows right past him. Now to Martinson, under 120. Martinson! Out of my way, says Ty Martinson. He's got 2 points, and Riverside pulling away, up 9.
3 defenders in the paint. He splits 2 of them in coverage, puts up that layup. That's got to be a killer to Mullen's defense.
Christian drives to the rack and picks up a foul. On the ground. Foul was on Swarchek, his second. Team's fifth. Team's...
His third.
His third. Ah, there's my missing foul we were talking about earlier. There we go.
So he's going to go to the bench in foul trouble. Still a minute to remain in the third quarter. He's going to take a seat. Now, big opportunity here for Mullen.
Another foul on Riverside. Now Prasovsky has 3. 16 foul, 1 away, and we're only in the third quarter, so a big advantage here. If Mullen needs to make up some points quick, the free throw line might be where they do that. Inbound to Spiess, easy look, high off the glass. Kind of an awkward shot there for Mr. Spiess, but he's got 3 points. Mullen within 7, under a minute.
A little bit under the backboard there, kind of hooks up back around, high off the glass. Wonderful shot there in the paint. Try to get some momentum back on Mullen's side.
Out goes Prasovsky. Some heavy defense by Walker. Gets right around, and Prasovsky putting the moves on Walker. Riverside burning some time here. Mullen, student section chanting, boring, not too happy with what's going on.
Not happy with Riverside's decision to milk the clock at the end of the third.
But it looks like it's going to pay off. Martinson's headed to the line. Tell Spiess with his second. Team's fourth. Martinson has yet to come to the line. And Prasovsky actually was pulled out there by the official there moments ago, bleeding from his elbow. We have a trainer out there on the bench making sure he's all patched up. First shot from Martinson is a miss.
And that could be a problem here for Riverside. He's the one you want to take that last second shot. Now with 11 seconds left, he's on the bench. You have to entrust somebody else if they get the ball back to take that shot.
Also Swarchek not on the floor. A second miss and a board for Spiess. Here come the Broncos, plenty of time to shoot. Three-pointer on the way. No good from Walker. Out of bounds off Riverside, 1.7 left.
Now Mullen has one more opportunity. Catch and shoot. Try to get as close as they can to Riverside, closing out the third quarter.
Plenty of time here. Need 0.4 seconds in basketball to catch and shoot. Even had time to put it on the floor, but Edis misfires, and that's going to do it for the third quarter. Riverside takes the momentum back from Mullen out of that third quarter, out of that fourth quarter, out of that second quarter. I get my quarter drive. I've been calling a lot of basketball today. Happens. Riverside up 49-42. We're going to take a short break, collect our thoughts, look at some stats, and be right back.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Getting set for the fourth quarter, and inbound to Edis is going to start things off for Mullen. Still a 7-point lead here for Riverside. They reclaim the momentum from Mullen. See if they can respond in any kind of way. Christian off the screen, back up to Edis. 1v1 opportunity for Walker. Walker drives in hard on Burnt, looks for an open man, and there he is. Three-pointer just shy for Christian, and an offensive board for Prasowski. Riverside again picking up the pace just a bit. Through two defenders. Finds an open man. Bloom powers forward. Off the glass. Two bounces, no good. And a board for Christian.
And Mullen needs to put up some baskets quick, gain some momentum, because they've got to go on a run to take the lead back from Riverside, down by 7.
Walker hits a backdoor cut. That won't count. Christian's bucket doesn't count. But he will get a chance for a 1-and-1.
That is the 4th foul on Swerchek. So he's going to go back to the bench, and I'm assuming for most of the 4th quarter now, 1 foul, and he'll leave for the rest of the game. So that's another big blow to the Riverside offense and defense.
Shooting 1-and-1 is Christian. He earns himself a second chance. And I mentioned earlier with the foul trouble that the Chargers were inevitably going to get into, that this game might be won for Mullen, or at least recaptured for the Broncos at the free throw line. And Christian is making sure that is well on its way. A little bit of a shooter's touch. Gets the second one to fall. Just like that, 2-possession ball game.
Mullen's not giving up easy. I mean, it's been a back-and-forth game all night. The only reason Riverside is up as big as they are is because of one run that happened in the 3rd quarter.
Prasowski off his own foot. Mullen fans liking that. It will go back to the Broncos.
And I mean, just like most high school sports, it's a game of momentum. I talk about it a lot at volleyball, basketball too. Once you start feeling that momentum, your team starts shooting better, you start getting more steals, more blocks, and right now Mullen's feeling the momentum, and they're back on defense.
Kobe Walker channeling some Kemba Walker with that three-pointer. But on the other side, we have a foul. I missed who it was on. As always, we'll recoup that later, I suppose.
We'll figure that out eventually.
Martinson to Carraher, a long three for Prasowski. Plenty short, under the basket for the putback is Trey Carraher, but he's headed to the stripe for 2.
We're going to have some discussion with the score table by the looks of it. Official's going to head over there now.
This holds. Luke Christian's got his 3rd foul. The Broncos have... No, they reversed it.
That was that first foul that we missed. Ty Durfee was that first foul. The score table didn't catch that. So we have both our fouls accounted for.
There we go. First free throw is good. 2 fouls for Durfee. But still 6 for Mullen. 1 away from that bonus. Second shot, good as well. Much needed free throws there for Riverside. Broncos again cutting this deficit down. There goes Walker. Walker with the scoop shot. It is blocked out of bounds by Bloom. He has been quite the threat down there. A couple blocks, I'm sure, to his name so far.
That would be number 4 on the evening. He picked up 3 in the 2nd quarter alone.
A little more in a couple.
Yeah, just a few.
Inbound into Durfee. Sets his feet, takes the shot. No good, and a board from Martinson. But it is stolen back. And a missed shot for Christian. 2 missed shots, 2 missed opportunities for Mullen as we're under 6 minutes. Plenty of time. Bloom flushes it from the left block. All kinds of room, and he is feeling it once again. Joseph Bloom with the slam. And Riverside fans loving it. They're on their feet.
And on the opposite end, Mullen fans dead silent after that. If you want to change the momentum of a game extremely quickly, throw down a dunk, and we'll see how fast that turns.
That'll about do it. Walker's going to try to respond in a block from Bloom, but he's fouled on the way there. Trey Carraher with his first team's 8th. Shooting 1 and 1.
For the second time tonight, Riverside starting to get on a bit of a rally here. Pull ahead a little bit. They're up by 5 points now. Mullen not giving up. Coming back and putting some shots up.
Walker hits the first of 2. Swerchek back in the game for Riverside. Remember that 4 fouls.
I'm not sure if that's a little too early. I mean, you still have to play 5 minutes versus losing a starter that you could be using in the last 2-3 minutes if he picks up that foul early.
A dangerous game here. Coach Imus thinks it's the right time. The second free throw was no good. Christian recovers. Brasowski makes him pay. His first points of the quarter. Momentum favors Riverside. As they play the man-to-man, haven't seen them in their zone. Man is certainly working into a triple team. Ill-advised pass there from Spiess. Luke Christian got tied up by Swerchek, and the possession arrow favors the Chargers. Mullen fans a little beside themselves right now. Swerchek across the timeline. Under 4.5 to play. All the way to the rack is Swerchek. They'll head to the stripe for a chance at 2 more.
And now the Broncos pick up their 7th team foul. So now they lose that luxury of intentionally fouling without sending anybody to the free throw line. All non-offensives. Send the Charger to line to shoot 1 and 1 the rest of the game.
Spiess with 3 fouls. Broncos with 7. Like you said, in the bonus now. Swerchek sinks the first. Things getting a little tough here for Mullen. Lots of time, 4.5 minutes.
Still only a 3-possession game. Plenty of time to work with. Mullen's just got to get fired up. Get something going here on offense.
Second shot was no good. Christian came up with the board. No post up at the elbow. Swerchek steals that one away and opts to slow things down. An outlet to Brasowski. Perhaps a wise move to burn some time.
I mean, we saw in the last game, Fall City Sacred Heart, they started milking the clock really early, and it's extremely effective in getting these games to end. Instead of going for that transition point, he pulls back, wait for his teams to get set, and they look for more open look.
The conversation has been had, I know, a few times that perhaps the high school basketball here in Nebraska needs a shot clock. But for right now, that is not the case.
Christian tips that shot away, keeps that basket from going in, trying to fire up his team. A little bit of miscommunication. It's going to be a turnover for Mullen.
Over and back for the Broncos. Mullen desperately needing a timeout, and they do call one. Coach Moore wants to talk it over, try to get his Broncos composed and back into this one. 3:41 left to go in this game. 56-48 Chargers. Let's take a short break and be right back in 1 minute.
This stage is nowhere near Broadway, and none of these actors will be accepting an Oscar anytime soon. Still, they are rehearsing for something important. While they learn their lines, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, that everyone has a part to play. Skills that will make them stars long after the curtain falls. The National Federation of State High School Associations reminds you that when kids take part in high school activities, they get set for life.
Hey, great party.
Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically burned.
That's it. You're not gonna come to my house and tell me how to cook a hamburger.
You wouldn't do it there.
Gotta be crazy.
So, don't do it here. Sportsmanship. It's up to you.
Fits in the tantrums, echoes through the Devaney Sports Center as time winds under 4 minutes. About 3:40 to go here. A 56-48 lead for the Chargers. Things looking kind of grim for Mullen. And Ty, like you mentioned earlier, Fall City Sacred Heart started milking the clock at about 4.5, 5 minutes. They really started squeezing it for all it's worth. Now almost under 3 minutes. Expect Riverside to do the same. Mullen's got to get aggressive.
But they also have to be careful who goes for those intentional fouls. You see two of their starters with 3 fouls.
Swerchek drives to the lane, opts out. Spies ties him up and gets his 4th.
Riverside not even looking for a rebound here on these free throws. They're getting back and getting set on defense.
They trust Swerchek with the 1-and-1. It's the first of now 2. Second shot in and out, and a rebound for Spies. 57-48. A 9-point deficit. 3 minutes to go. A chance at a state title. A repeat for Mullen. A chance for greatness for Riverside. To cement themselves as one of the top powers in all of sports in D2.
But no matter who wins this game, they've got a giant obstacle going for that state championship. Fall City Sacred Heart already sealed their tickets to the championship game. They're obviously going to be watching this game, looking for who they're going to face off against tomorrow night.
Sacred Heart, the 1 seed. Riverside, the 2. Mullen, the 3. And Mullen, I can't quite recite who they had to get to in their district, but I know they went through about 3 ranked teams in subs and in districts and barely won all of them. A lot of close games, so valiant effort even to get to this point here from Mullen. Mullen trying to cement themselves as a basketball power in D2. Swerchek to Martinson, doesn't pass up to Bloom. Bloom heads to the stripe. Christian gets his 3rd foul. Fourth, make that 4 fouls for Christian.
Either way, 9 team fouls in the half for Mullen. Their next foul will send a Charger to the line to shoot 2 now.
Beast out, Walker in.
It's getting more and more risky for Mullen. Throw those intentional fouls.
First free throw is no good from Bloom. Big free throws here. And the second one is nothing but nets.
So expect a fast tempo from Mullen here. They've got to put up 3 3-pointers. They want to tie things up.
An offensive foul against Ennis. Crashing to the floor goes Martinson. Way to stand tall in there and take the brunt of it. Ennis only with 1 foul. Offensive foul, so no one heads to the line. Now 10 fouls. Martinson inbounds to Prasowski, taking his sweet time under 2 minutes. Out to Swerchek, to Martinson. Back to Prasowski at half court. I think Mullen looking for possibly a foul. Out to the corner, passing up on the 3 to Martinson. Back over to Burns. Burns 15 seconds so far. Frustrated Kobe Walker commits his second foul and the 11th for the Broncos.
Riverside doing a great job of avoiding that intentional foul that chips extra time off the clock. Mullen just has to be careful and not get frustrated when they're going for it and they can't seem to find the ball carrier. They've got to calm down, make sure they're not throwing a technical foul in there.
Swarchek and Martinson giving some encouraging words. A missed first free throw. Licking back in. Durfee out. This time the second shot is good.
10-point ball game. Riverside up, looking to punch their ticket to the Class D2 championship game tomorrow night.
Mullen directing some traffic, running out of time. Under 1.5. Now to Walker, he spots up a long three. That one's no good, but the putback for Christian will send him to the line.
Now the Chargers put the Broncos into double bonus territory as well. Both teams with 10 team fouls with 1:12 remaining.
First one is good. Fourth foul for Persofsky. So if this thing goes to overtime, keep that in mind.
Only an 8-point game. Mullen's still in this one. But a hard foul comes in from Walker, trying to grab that steal.
109, 8-point game. Still within reach for the Broncos. Need some missed free throws here from Martinson. Big free throws. No Charger in the lane. One is too strong against Swarchek. Some words of encouragement. And the second free throw is good. Anything helps. Down 9. 1 minute to play here from Devaney. Some fancy footwork and a missed three from Edis, and Riverside comes up with it yet again.
Quick foul this time, only a few seconds off the clock. But once again, Riverside back to the free throw line.
Persofsky is yet to make an appearance at the stripe.
Considering his shooting ability, not the person I would want to send to the free throw line. See here, he sinks his first one pretty easily.
If he can shoot the three as effectively, you wouldn't think he'd miss free throws. The Giltner Hornets stuck around to watch this one unfold. They will get the loser. So the loser gets a consolation game. Giltner will play at 3 p.m. at Lincoln East. That three on the way from Walker, and a timeout for Mullen. Still down 62-54. 50.5 seconds left on the clock. And just looking at the bracket here, Falls City Sacred Heart, like you said, already on their way to PBA. And the winner of this, Riverside Mullen, gets Falls City. And the loser gets Giltner. That game tomorrow at Lincoln East High School at 3 o'clock. You can catch all the championship action from A to D2 on NET, online, and on TV.
This is starting to look bad for Mullen, but 50 seconds is a lot of time in basketball. The Broncos still have one timeout. If they can get the ball back, throw up a quick shot, call another timeout, they can still get back in this one. Only down by 8 points.
Both Prosowski and Swarchek, the two leaders of this Charger team, both with 4 fouls. And also for the Broncos, 4 fouls for Spies and Christensen.
So you look into an overtime possibility, and you almost want to say it favors Mullen at this point because 2 of the lead scorers for Riverside, both with 4 fouls. If we do have to go into overtime, I almost think it favors Mullen. They just have to get there first. and Riverside isn't going to make it easy.
That's a tall order here for the Broncos, seeing what they can do with the full court press. Martinson, a wise decision. Not going to turn the ball over, calls a timeout. And this time we'll take a break with them as well. 30-second timeout, back in just a few.
You have the best of me. I'll have the best of you. We'll share this life like we ought to. We'll share this life like we ought to.
Back from the timeout. Again, Martinson to inbound it. This time he gets it to Swerchek. All right, trying to trap him in the corner, but it's across the timeline, and a quick foul will send Burnt to the line. Brendan Walker, the only starter who just picked up a foul. If anything, we can look at Riverside and go, they utilize their fouls pretty well. You got 5 to give. My old coach always told me, if you're not fouling, you're not trying. So you need at least a couple to solidify that you were out there.
I mean, both teams playing very aggressive, and that's going to lead to a lot of fouls. Mullen throwing a lot of intentional fouls. They're going to rack up a lot more here at the end. But fouling definitely part of the game. That's why they give you 5.
One make, one miss. Edis with the ball. A long 3 on the way. Too strong from Walker. An offensive board, kicking it back out. The extra pass is blocked by Prososki. And a foul for Mullen.
And what a play by Prososki to keep the ball to Riverside. I mean, great play by I can find what grade he is in. The sophomore, very young player, stepping up and being a leader for this Charger team.
Bloom misses the first of 2. It's been about the norm here for Riverside, really only making 1 of 2. Both times Swerchek 1 for 2, Bloom 1 for 2, and Burnt 1 for 2 both times.
But the number of fouls and the opportunities they're getting, those 1 points are definitely adding up for them as they're up by 10 points now. 31 seconds remain.
3 is on the way, an air ball from Edis. The defensive board for Burnt. And another foul.
I think with these free throws, Riverside just about puts this one on ice and seals their ticket to see Fall City Sacred Hearts in the finals tomorrow night. Just 23.4 seconds remain.
10-point game. I've seen some crazy things here calling some games, but I don't think this deficit can be overcome. Getting pretty tough here, and the benches are clearing for both squads.
I mean, we've seen this multiple times in the tournament. We saw it at the girls' tournament last week. You get to the end of the game, you're up big, you put all those starters back on the bench, the JVs come in, and your bench is ecstatic, and you look over to the other, and it's just dismay as your starters who have played the entire year realize that their championship hopes are over. They are dashed, and it's a completely different demographic between the two benches.
Looking at the players on the floor now for Mullen, number 2, Jared Finney. Number 40, Bryce McIntosh. Number 14, Matthew Sticka. Number 34, Brandon Peters. Looking over to Riverside, number 34, Paul Vandewall. Number 20, Jeffrey Schmeitz. Number 13, Tyler Smith. Number 5, number 15, Ryan Berger. And to the basket for 2 is Brandon Peters.
Riverside is going to give it right back to Mullen. A little bit of an experience problem there. Doesn't realize. Hops out of bounds. Hops right back inbounds. Tries to get back to do the inbounds play. That's just an experience thing. Mullen with another opportunity here. But time will wind down. Beautiful three there for number 3, Hendricks.
Colton Hendricks' three, not enough.
And our matches are set. Championship games tomorrow. Congratulations, Riverside. They will meet the number 1 seed, Fall City Sacred Heart. Mullen is going to meet Giltner tomorrow in the consolation game.
Hats off to Mullen, a valiant effort, a great game playing for their ill coach and trying to come back and defend their D2 title. I think they've pretty much cemented themselves as a perennial power here in Class D2, but Riverside gets them this time. We're going to take a short break and be back in about 4 or 5 minutes to get your final scoring tally and statistics. So, folks, don't go anywhere.
Hey, great party.
Oh, thanks. Here you go. 1 hamburger, medium well.
This is well done.
No. That's medium well.
What? Are you calling me a liar? This thing is practically